country that sits between the Asian and European continents, Turkey's strategic location has it attracting travellers from all over the world. Its cultural sites, natural wonders and rich cuisine, combined with a diversified climate, also makes it a year-round tourist destination. While the country is unsurprisingly enjoying an upward trend since the pandemic, there's hope 2024 could even exceed last year's record numbers in both tourist arrivals and revenues. Recent data shows in the period between January and June of this year, Turkey's tourism revenue and numbers of tourists visiting have surged year on year, while visitor arrivals went up more than 10%, reaching over 20 million people. Tourism revenue has reached $23.7 billion. Turkey's Culture and Tourism Minister, Mehmet Nuri Ersoy, has said the largest numbers of visitors to the country were from Russia, Germany and the UK. And when it comes to one of Turkey's most popular cities, Antalya, official numbers show its airport recorded an all-time high in both aircraft traffic and passenger numbers. It's in that context that the Culture and Tourism Ministry is hopeful the country will reach its year-end target of $60 billion of revenue from visitors. For more on international tourism in Turkey, joining me from London is Virginia Messina. She is a Senior Vice President of the World Travel and Tourism Council. And from Istanbul, Cemil Hakan Kilic, General Manager of the Istanbul Convention and Visitors Bureau. Virginia, I'd love to start with you. Turkey's tourism sector generated a new record in revenues, $23.7 billion during the first half of 2024. That does seem to show a really healthy, continuous post-pandemic resurgence. How significant is this rebound, especially compared to pre-pandemic levels and compared to other countries out there?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Charlotte. It's great to be back in this space. And as you just pointed out, I mean, the Turkish tourism sector is booming. It's really having a really strong recovery. And even last 2023, it was already about 30% above 2019 levels, so pre-pandemic levels, which obviously our sector was thriving. So it is great to see this. Other markets have struggled, and we haven't seen such a fast recovery in other countries around the world. So we're very pleased to see this recovery so far. And as you pointed out, by the end of 2024, we're forecasting that our sector will contribute about 12.4% of the Turkish economy. That is a value of about 3.2 trillion lira into the country, or about 135 billion US.
Gosh, those are astounding numbers, aren't they? And Jamie, looking at the medium term, if you like, do we think this trend will continue into the second half of 2024?
Well, it sure seems like it. The rebound has extremely be very significant. We're expecting this number continue in 2024, rest of the year, and maybe even in 2025 until everything gets back to real normal before pre-pandemic era. Because we all know that a lot of people stuck in their houses. We were expecting this immense demand for tourism because we all were so fed up with being at home and at work. So it's like unleashed, and everybody went out, wanted to discover more and more and get rid of this pandemic era and get out of it. So yes, we're expecting a back to normal going in this stage, 2024 and even in 2025.
Gosh, absolutely. I do remember being stuck at home, and that wasn't fun for anyone. Virginia, Turkey aims to generate around $60 billion in tourism revenue this year. As we were saying, we've got to just over 23 billion for the first 6 months. That means that leaves a little bit of a way to go to reach that 60 billion target. Do you think it can do it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think what we also see in Turkey is the importance of international visitor spending. So according to our data, about 70% of all spending comes from international visitors, and hence obviously the impact in the pandemic. But the recovery is being very strong, as we said. So we are expecting these international visitors to bring above 30 billion US dollars from in spending. And obviously there's also the role that domestic travel plays. It is something that held some of the economies through the pandemic, and we hope to see more of Turkish people visiting all the beauties and all the wonderful things that Turkey has to offer.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the beautiful things, the wonderful things that Turkey has to offer. Cemil, there's obviously been many international events that may have drawn tourists elsewhere, things like the UEFA Football Championships, the Paris Olympics that are still happening right now. Nevertheless, people are definitely still coming to Turkey. What is it that continues to draw people here?
Well, there are various factors in that. First of all, the accessibility. I mean, Turkish Airlines flying over 320 destinations, direct flight. And within Europe, it's a matter of like hours to get down. And second is quality of service. It's being very high, state-of-the-art hotels and other institutions, new infrastructures, still the youngest generation in the EU area, and also in a different culture and historical attractions. More or less, when we talk about Europe, for example, more or less you see the same things within Europe, but about an hour more flight, you'll be in a totally different climate, a totally different culture and heritage, and so much to discover. And last but not least is the safe. I mean, as lowest crime rate relative to its size, and Turkey is, of course, a vibrant city 24/7. A lot of friendly people here to host others. And it's also, in the specifics of Istanbul, I could say it's becoming a business center for many meetings. Also, kinds of events have their own audience that brings. We experienced this during Formula One races before. And if you combine all these factors, that makes the difference. And that's how how it makes Turkey, in a way, as an attractive place during those times also.
Absolutely. Fascinating stuff. Another thing Turkey is known for is its beautiful coastline. But of course, there are other Mediterranean countries that also have beautiful coastlines, and on the Black Sea as well. How is Turkey positioned, Virginia, compared to other destinations across the Aegean and Mediterranean regions? And is there any more that could be done here?
I think my colleague just pointed out the incredible diversity that Turkey has to offer. And I think that's something that matters, is not just the ability to visit one, whether it's a sun and beach destination or the beautiful coastline, but also all the cultural and heritage sites, all the adventure and ecotourism offer. So it does have a very, very diverse offer. And of course, the business and corporate travel that is so relevant to the economy as well. So I think that sort of makes Turkey in an advantage competitiveness against other destinations. I think the other thing that is important to say when you ask what else can be done, I think the focus around infrastructure has been paramount. I think that the development we've seen across airport infrastructure, for example, has really underpinned this growth, and that has been core to the numbers that we are seeing. I think the other really positive thing we're seeing is the passion, the sustainability, the real focus on having sustainable practices, sustainable policies for operators across the countries, which is obviously something that consumers demand.
So making it easy for visitors to get here and then having great stuff for them to do while they're here. And all of that has led to a net increase in visitor numbers to Turkey. Quite astounding, up by 10.3% year on year to some 21.6 million. How astounding and remarkable is that achievement, Cemil? And how can we also ensure that the spend is high amongst individual visitors? Because you don't just want them coming here, you want them also to spend their money and contribute to the economy, right?
Well, you're sure about that, but I want to draw your attention into something by far more important than that, in my opinion. I mean, it's a remarkable number. Yes, it's an achievement for sure, but true value is not just in attracting more tourists. It is about getting to know these people and building the bridge over. So to us, the new era is actually peace through tourism. I mean, tourism is a very complex in its nature. Unlike other industries, there is no a clear product in the end. It has many aspects in that sense. And it is based on connecting people across the world without race, religion, or nationality. And when you look at the economic side of it, 10% of the world's GDP and 1 out of 10 employees are from tourism. But its impact goes far beyond the economic benefits. And it is worthwhile to look at tourism as a social force and a culture of peace as opposed to just an industry.
We have so many other things to talk about, but I'm going to leave it on that beautiful sentiment. Cemil Hakan Kilic and Virginia Messina, thank you so much for joining us on Straight Talk today.